Okay, so this is the opening steps for Premiere Pro. So this is my desktop with all my files on it. I have Premiere Pro open, but I'll just close that and I'll open it again. So I go to my Adobe folder for Premiere Pro 2020, click open, and it pops up like this. It usually takes a minute to open. So once it opens, you get this little this big black screen, and then this thing with home will appear. So you have access to the Premiere Pro tutorials, which are in there. These are excuse me, these are all the projects I've worked on in the last few days, or 3 years ago. But these are the most recent projects that I've opened. But I don't want to do more editing to an existing project. I want to start a new project, so I go up here and it says new project, and I click it. This opens this little box. Okay, and I give it a title, test, April 16th. That's what I'm going to call it. This thing underneath just tells me where it's going to save the file. So in this case, it's going to save it to my desktop. If I want to change it, I just go to Browse, and I'll put it into this. I'm actually going to put it into this folder called Greg, and April 9th tutorials. So I'm going to put it in there. Click Select Folder, and click OK. So that's just saving where the file's going to go, and then the workspace opens up. Looks like that. There's nothing in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in some video footage that I already recorded. And to do that, I go down to the project project window down here, and where it says Import Media to start, I right-click to get this window up and click Import. And then this video window box will open, this file box will open. I can also do it by going to File and clicking Import, or Control-I on a PC, Command-I if you're on a Mac, and it'll also open. So I have a bunch of video files in here. This is my coffee video, so I will bring those in. I can bring in more than one by simply hitting Shift and clicking to highlight more than I need to, and press Open. And it'll say Importing Files, and they'll all appear down here in my project window. Okay, so you can see that these are video files with sound added, so there's a little green waveform icon on them, right there. And behind that there's a little purple video icon, so that tells me that it's a video file with sound. If it's sound, I'll just see the green icon. If it's just video, I'll just see the video icon. So I can start my edit by dropping my media into the timeline, like that. Just drag it over and drop it, and it creates a timeline, and you see it. So this particular clip is 10 seconds long. Okay, so down here I have, because it's a video file with sound, I have an audio file and a video file, and they're attached. The video file is on video track 1, the audio file is on audio track 1. So this little line here separates your video from your audio. Okay? Now, if I want to get rid of the audio, which it sounds terrible, it's just the noise of my coffee maker going, I'm not going to use it. So if I want to get rid of that camera audio, what I can do is decouple them. So highlight both clips just by dragging my cursor over them and highlighting. And then there's this icon right here that looks like 2 tracks with a little arrowhead over it, and it's called Unlinked Selection. All I do is click that to unlink. Okay, then try and highlight them both. And you'll see that they're unlinked. So when I click one, the other one doesn't highlight. Okay, so what I can easily do then is highlight the sound and click delete or backspace, and that'll delete the sound. Okay, so now I just have a video clip with no sound. Okay, so to put my sound in, what I'm going to do is I've already recorded sound on my iPhone, on my iPhone voice memos app, which is here, and I've emailed it to myself, and that's what it looks like. It's a little text file. It's a little test audio file that's in my email, so I'll just download that. Audio files are pretty easy to email. They're not very big, unlike video files, which are very big. It's pretty easy to just send around test audio files for people who do podcasts and stuff. So, so I have a test audio file that I just downloaded, okay, and I'll go back to Premiere Pro, go to Import again, and this time I just downloaded the file, so it should be in my Downloads folder, which is right there, Test Audio, right? So I just click that and open, and since it's an audio file, it's green and it's just got the icon of audio, the audio icon next to it. To get it into my timeline, all I do is the same thing, drag it on to the audio tracks, let go, and there it is. You'll notice that if I try and drag it on to the video tracks, it won't go. So I'll drag it over here, and you'll see that a little sort of round no sign appears, and it won't work. So I drag it onto the audio tracks for editing audio. If I try and drag a video clip on to the audio tracks, it won't actually work either. What's going to happen here is the audio will hit the audio tracks and the video will hit the video tracks. Okay. But anyway, that's how you do it. Just drag it right over, and you have your audio on your timeline ready to be edited. So now we can listen to it, and it just says
testing, this is a sound file test for voice memos on iPhone, creating a audio file that I can then put into Premiere Pro and cut up the same way I would with my video file.
Okay, so that's what it is. It's pretty quick.
Testing.
So there's nothing being said between this section and this section, so between the beginning and right here. That's just background noise that the phone picked up because I was moving it around in my hand. So I don't need any of that, so I'm just going to edit that out by going to the razor tool, which is right here. Okay, and you'll see that my cursor turns into a little razor when I bring it down over the timeline. That's for editing, right? And I'm just going to blade it right there. So it just creates a cut right there, as if I chopped a tape in half with an actual razor. And I can highlight this new section and delete it. Edit it out. I can right click to bring up this ripple delete menu. Click that and it'll move my footage, my audio clip back. I can also just pick it up and drag it, and it'll do the same thing. Okay, so now I get a piece where the audio.
Testing. This is a sound file test for voice memos on iPhone.
So now I get one that just doesn't have that.
Testing.
Have that noise right at the beginning. It just starts right away. I can even take this way away just by doing the same thing. Highlight it, click, ripple delete.
Sound file test for voice memos on iPhone.
Okay. So what you can do is put any amount of cuts anywhere you need, right there say, and right there, and right there, and drag your audio clips around just as you would video clips. You can even put them over one another, okay, so you can drag it down to this track down here, put them over each other like so, and we'll hear both at the same time.
Sound file
See? So we can do that
memos
if we
on
need to.
iPhone.
For a voiceover, best to record it nice and clear and nice and sharp. Each line clear, concise, with a definite space between the previous one and the next one, so that you can cut it sharply when you go into Premiere Pro. So that's how you would start your project and put your sound and video files in there. Okay. For your text, what we do is we go to the toolbox and to the T function, click that, it's called Type Tool, and we go up here to our program window, which is what is showing us what's on our timeline. Click anywhere and you will see this little red box appear, and for typing, what we'll do is we'll just type test, whatever we want, test of Greg's coffee maker. Okay, so we'll get that little thing. If I go back to my pointer selection tool, the red box will turn into a blue box with these little pointers on it, and that gives me the ability to manipulate the size and position of the text. So I can just drag it like this, and I see that I made a mistake, so I'll go back to the red one and change that to an M. Okay, make that a capital. So I can drag it around and position it just by going back to my pointer tool and putting it where I want to. Okay, to make edits of the actual text, to manipulate the text, what I do is I go up here to graphics, click that, and the graphics window will open on the right hand side. At the very top you'll see two menus that say browse and edit. Go to edit, and this will give me where I can work with transforming my text. So to do that, I click here and I click and highlight the text. All of this information that allows me to position my text, change the font, change the size, the color, will appear down here. You'll also see that there's now a new video file in your timeline that's pink. That's called Test of Greg's Coffee Maker, because that's what I called the text in my window. You'll see that it's there, and it can be edited just like any other piece of video footage. So you can make it shorter or longer. Okay, so then the text will stay there the entire time. If I do that, it'll disappear here, disappear. To edit the text, you go down here. So it defaults to Tahoma font. Go back to the T. When you open this graphics panel, it shifts your toolbox up here. So you just go back to the T and do the same thing to edit it. Okay. Highlight all your text. You can use this drop-down menu here to change the style of font. I'm a big fan of Times New Roman, so I will change it to Times New Roman. You can just do that. You can just search for one by typing it in there, or using the scroll down. And you can also make it regular italic, bold italic, to change the style if you want. This little slider here will change the size, so we can see that my font is 100. I can move it up, make it bigger, make it smaller, make it really, really tiny. Okay, and these controls will affect the positioning of your text within your text box. Okay. Up here you have a align and transform function. So these two little dials here will position your font exactly at vertical center or horizontal center. So if I want it vertical center, I just do that. You'll see it pops up. If I do that, it moves to the center. So it's now perfectly aligned horizontal center and vertical center. So that means it's right in the middle of my video. If I don't want to do that, I can drag it to any place I want. So for traditional interview, lower thirds would be sort of around there. Down here I also have a color function down here. So if I click that fill, it'll it'll open this little window, and I can change, it to any color that I care to move my cursor over. So I can make it black, I can make it blue by doing that, just dragging this down to blue and bringing it down here, make it blue. Okay, I can also add, a stroke, a background. So add the background to 100%, that'll put the background in, and then I just need to pick a color for the background. So if the font is blue, I can probably make the background white, and do that. Okay, and then I get that look. So those are the things I can do with my text. I can take it in, take it out. If I want to get rid of the stroke in the background, I just unclick these little boxes right here. Okay, so that's the things I can do with my text function. Put it back to white. To put text in a video. Okay, I can also make the box bigger and smaller just by dragging it around, or I can turn it sideways by doing this. Okay. So that's just what you can do with your text and how you can do it. You really just need to position it with your pointer. Remember that it is in your timeline as a piece of footage, so you can always make it longer or shorter, whatever you need to do. You can cut it up just like any kind of piece of footage. So that's your sound. When you go to finish your video, what you're going to do is make sure you put your playhead at the end of your video. So whatever piece of information is going to be the very last thing. So in this case, it's sound. I have a chunk here with no video, but just sound. Put your playhead at the end of it. Okay. Always save. Go to File, and this time Export. You're going to export media. You can also do it by hitting Control M or Command N if you're using a Mac. Your export settings window will pop open like this. So you'll see your video there. Okay, so in this case my video is 14 seconds long. Okay. For format, it's going to be an MP4 file that you're exporting. So Premiere Pro calls that an H.264. Okay, so you'll see format H.264. If you need to change it, if it doesn't say H.264, you just go to the drop-down window and click H.264. You can also do it right here. So you'll see that the name of the file you export is going to be right here in blue. You want to change it, just click the blue text, and this save as box will open, and type in the new title of your file. So final video, I'm going to call it, and I'll click save. So now you'll see it's called finalvideo.mp4, so that tells me that it's an MP4 file. Okay, this is just confirming that those are the source parameters for the file that's going to export. Okay, and I don't need to queue it, I just click export. This render file box will pop up, then this encoding box will pop up. Your file, this will take a little bit longer for you because your video is going to be longer than my 12-second video. So you just export it, that's the export progress right there. Pops out, and then once it disappears, it means your file has exported. Okay, and I will find my exported file in my it should be right in here. And there it is. Test April 16th. Okay. So that is how you import, edit, and export a file.